want to talk about what is happening in the world right now, and specifically what's happening in our country. And I don't have a channeled message for you today. This is just kind of information that's been coming to me the last couple of days from Spirit. And what I wanted to share is that it isn't time to be afraid. And I know that what's going to be happening over the next couple of days and the next couple of weeks is going to be really frightening for people who don't understand what's happening. So what's happening? What's happening is that, as I've said before, all hell is breaking loose from the planet. And a lot of what has been hidden for the last decades, centuries, millennia is coming to the surface for resolution. This is the collective shadow that's being exposed. Now, I tend to use, and some of you who've seen some of my other videos or maybe have been following me for a few years, is that I tend to use this bandage analogy, and this comes from my medical background. And so what we've been seeing happening slowly over the years, and the reason it's been happening slowly is because the guardians explained to me years ago that they were going to expose the darkness at a pace that would not cause mass hysteria. That has been the plan, to keep it as chaos-free as possible. So the information's been slowly leaked out so that we can slowly acclimate to the information as it comes forward. And now we're getting to the far end of that, and it's all being exposed all at once. So the important thing is to be prepared for a mass exposure, if you will, because it's taken a little bit longer than was initially planned, because the dark side is so good at hiding itself and at deception, because that's what it does, right? It deceives. That's its entire purpose and its way of being able to exist on our planet for so long. So what's happening now is that the bandages have been torn off. This started happening years ago. I want to say about 2012 was when I started to really understand that all of this darkness was going to be exposed. So the bandages were torn off, and we've been excavating down through the yuck. So if you imagine having a big gaping wound on your arm and you've got band-aids on it, right? So the bandages have been there for years, hiding underneath the bandages what's really been going on. And so every time somebody comes into office, all the politicians and all, they just slap more bandages on it. Rather than getting to the root of the issues, they just keep covering it up and not exposing any of it. And in some cases, they're actually involved in it. So what happened starting in 2012 was that the bandages started getting ripped off so that we could actually look at the dis-ease of humanity, as I call it. It's our natural state of being is a state of ease. So what's been happening on our planet is dis-ease. That's why, literally why we all get sick and get diseases. It means it's being out of ease. So in order to get back to a state of ease, we have to excavate all of the dis-ease that's been hiding underneath the bandages. And so we've been slowly going through the surface disease, the surface stuff, and getting deeper and deeper and deeper into what looks to me, if I'm seeing a visual of my arm, it actually looks like gangrene. Like we're digging so deep now that the ugliest, grossest, putrid stuff that has been holding humanity in this state of dis-ease is being exposed. And so that's what's happening now, starting this week and into probably for about the next 6 months. We're going to be seeing a lot of this, and it's not going to be pretty. In fact, it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be really painful for a lot of people who don't know what it is. Now, that is to say that, and I'm not saying that to put anyone in fear. It's just to say that that's what's been happening, is that the darkness and the dis-ease is being exposed. Now, to look at it from the light side of the perspective, this is great. It's going to be scary for people who don't understand, but we are being given the gift of recreating our world. When the darkness gets pulled off our planet, when those who were the purveyors of darkness get removed from the planet, and I know that some of them have. I got a message a couple of months ago that the archons had been removed. They were the worst of them, that a lot of the other dark entities on our planet are being pulled from our planet. Now, they were told to leave years ago. They kept not leaving, not leaving, not leaving. The entity we know as Lucifer pretended he left. He took his fleet, his dark fleet, as he called it. I call him the Dark Overlord. And he took his dark fleet and he went out beyond the galaxy and left the Guardians with the impression that he was leaving. And they told him that he had to leave and that he could find another planet to haunt, but his time with Earth was over. Well, what he did is he created a back door to let himself back in. So that's why in 2012 it looked like things were moving along for this progress for our ascension, and then it halted. And so he came through a back door and came back onto the planet. Well, he's been arrested again, if you will. Now, some people say that his soul has actually been obliterated. I haven't tuned in and asked about that. And what it means to be obliterated is that, see, every being, every soul is a stream of consciousness that is a part of source. We're all directly connected to source. We're all a part of source, or God, if that's the word you prefer. And that we all have, that our souls are all part of that. So when we leave the physical realm, our soul returns to source as an aspect of source. When a soul is obliterated, what I was being told a couple of months ago is that these corrupted souls, or cells of God, which is another way of looking at it, that they're being they're basically like cancerous cells. So in order to completely remove them from the human experience and even from source, those souls are obliterated and returned to pure energy. And source takes them back in and then uses that material to create something entirely new. Like I said, I haven't tuned in to see if that's a fact, but I have heard from others that Lucifer and some of the darkest entities have had their souls obliterated. Other entities have been removed from the planet and sent elsewhere to finish playing out their game. I do know that many of the darkest players on our planet and human beings will be leaving the planet. Now, with the dark entities, the Dark Overlord gone, we have an opportunity to take back our planet. We have an opportunity to recreate our Earth. And the people who are on the dark side running the show are still trying to forward the vision that they have for us. But here's the thing. Love and light are so much more powerful than fear and darkness that it doesn't take that many of us to overturn, I was going to say overthrow, but that's not quite the right word, to overturn the vision that they've been creating for us. What Spirit has made very, very clear to me the last couple of weeks is that we need to laser focus our vision on the world we want to create. Because those who have been playing in the darkness have created this whole vision for us of what they want us to create on their behalf. But there are enough of us who are saying, no, we're not going to create that reality for you. We want to create heaven on earth. We want to create peace on earth. We want to create a world where people thrive and prosper, not just sustain. This whole sustainability thing, that's not good enough for us. We want all life on earth to prosper. Let's focus on that. We want to create systems that support all human beings, not just the lucky few at the top. So we get to create that. Our vision creates our reality. The more of us who can get in on this vision and feed love and feed light into it, the faster we'll be able to create that reality. Now, some people are saying it'll be 3 to 5 years for us to create that. If only a few of us are doing that, it might take that long. But I got to tell you, if we can turn this into a massive movement, if we can, as I said yesterday, love hack the airwaves, and all that we feed is love and light and what's possible and hope, we can overturn what the television has been telling us for years. We don't have to buy into their dystopia. We can create utopia for ourselves by forwarding that vision. So it's up to every single one of us to write positive words, to speak positive thoughts, to get on our airwaves and tell positive stories of what is possible instead of rehashing what's been going on the last couple of years. And I know it's really tempting, I guess is the best word, to keep rehashing that. But I've been told very clearly that it's now time for the experts and for the officials to take care of now navigating and exposing the darkness. It's up to us, the light workers, the light warriors, the light beings, to now be who we came here to be, and that is to forward the vision of what's possible. Heaven on earth is totally possible, but we got to be the ones to create it, and we're not going to get that from the television. We're only going to get that from us spreading like wildfire what is really possible. So yes, all of that is playing out on the earth field, as the darkness is being exposed. And yes, it's important to recognize that it's happening, because there are so many people who still have their heads in the sand and don't even know it exists, because the mainstream narrative has been so good at keeping people blind to the whole picture. Now, the reason I say the whole picture is because there's false narratives throughout the entire process. The people on the right aren't 100% right, and the people on the left aren't 100% right either, because there's deception in all of it. So it's to every single one of us to feed the entire process with love and with light, and know that we are here to create a better world. So as this starts coming to the surface, and some of us have been seeing it build, as it comes to the surface and the storm gets uglier, because it will get uglier before it gets better, remember to hold the light and hold the love, and know that this exposure, that this pulling out and putting out in front of humanity the darkness and the disease that's happened on our planet, is what's best for us. It's not going to feel like it when it's happening. It's certainly not going to feel like it to people who haven't been looking at the bigger picture. It's going to be very difficult for them, and they need us to remember who we are. They need us to remember to be the light, and to remember to be the love, and to remember that this is about the unification of humanity in a new world that we're creating. We passed over the dawning of the age of Aquarius. We're now fully launched, fully locked and loaded and anchored in the age of Aquarius. It just takes enough of us to recognize what it is and to fully embody it in all of humanity. And this requires us telling a new vision and creating new programming. And I use those terms because television right now is being used to program humanity. That's why it's called programming. It's called television because they're telling us what their vision is. And we can use their technology to tell an entirely new vision and entirely new programming, because humanity believes what it sees and hears. So the more of us who can tell these better stories, the more of us who can tell more loving truths, the more of us who can propagate hope into the airwaves, the more that becomes the collective belief. Yes, we get to create the new programming, and no longer choose to buy into the old programming that's been fed to us. So the message today, to round this up, is that as the rest of hell finishes breaking loose, remember to hold the light that is streaming through each and every one of us. And for some of us, it's bolder and brighter than others, because we've retained our connection to Source and have gone out of our way to embolden that connection to Source, because we know we're here to be the light for the rest of humanity. Be the love, be the light, propagate your vision of what's possible forward. Because just because we're being told a story doesn't mean that's how it has to be. We create our reality. And now that a lot of the dark entities have left our planet, they're not creating it. They're not using us to create their vision anymore. We're now in charge. So it's up to every single one of us, as I said a couple of days ago to another group, dig out your pens and your markers and your whiteboards and start creating the world that you envision. Because the more of us who can put it on paper and can put it out into the world, the faster it's going to happen. The world is counting on us to be the light that we came here to be, and to embody the love that we are. So as the storm is swirling around us, hold tight to the truth that the storm is temporary, that we've got this. We have hosts of angels and guardians protecting us and helping us through this process. They just need us to step up and help ourselves, and stop waiting for someone else to fix it for us, because that's not going to happen. We are the ones who are here to make a difference. We are the ones that we've been waiting for, and we know that. So it's time to stop pussyfooting around. It's time to stop wishful thinking. It's time to stop thinking that the man in the White House is going to fix it all for us, because you know what? They can't. And we are the ones that are going to fix it by changing who we are and propagating that out forward. So that's my message for today. And yeah, be in peace. Connect in with your higher self. Stay connected to Source. Pray, meditate. Surround yourself with loving people. And let go of everything that is not that. And no longer allow yourself to be succumbed to the dark story, because that's an old story. And it will no longer be relevant on our planet when we, enough of us, choose for it not to be. And so with that, I will see you next time. Wow. Be sure to hop on over to my official website at victoriareynolds.com and pick up your free gift, and check out all the other goodies that I have there for you.